the best books I read were, growing up, Mark Twain, he'd been gone a long time. How much I would have missed out if I hadn't read books, if I had only read books of people who were still alive. How sad that would have been. I would have, and still, I read books from people who are alive and people who aren't alive. It doesn't matter. Ideas, that's what it's about. It's not about the facade, about the fancy. Now, I published my book last year. I didn't get the fancy meet and greet author sessions that I was envisioning. No, I'm in the freaking woods with the plants. But yet, I hope that in the same way, people will read and treasure Zazoo Plazz and her adventures in years to come. That's my hope. I'm looking over here and there's a big mound in the woods. I've been watching this movie called My New Daughter, The New Daughter, with Kevin Costner that popped up on my Amazon Prime Video. And his daughter, he moves to this old house in South Carolina, and his daughter finds this mound. It was like an ancient, burial ground for Native Americans. And she starts going up on the mound and getting all dirty and getting into trouble. And I'm looking over here, and there's a big mound right next to me. Can't make this stuff up. Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, I was the kind of kid who would get into trouble, but because I have a grand trine in air, it was not the kind of trouble where like I would break something or I would, do something physical or hit somebody. It was more like my mother-in-law said she's been reading my books a little bit every day, a little bit every day, and she says, she came over last week, she's like, she says, you were a rascal when you were a little kid. You were a real rascal, a real pest. And that's what people said about Beverly Cleary's character, Ramona, pest. So I said, ever the pest. I said, well, yeah, but it was more so that, people used to say, what are we going to do with you? It was not so much that I would do something, and get punished for it. It was more like I'd get in trouble for my thoughts, my ideas not being accepted by the people in my life. Or I was a very sensitive child, very precocious. I would hear people, my grandfather swearing at age 2 and assume that he was speaking French. And then I would tell people, hey, I know French, and this is in the book. And they'd laugh, and they'd fall down laughing, and then I'd get in trouble that my mother had to go and yell at my grandfather for swearing in front of me, and it would start a, big family powwow, did I just say powwow? I gotta edit that out. It would start a real big family fight, and everybody would start, and I would touch off these little arguments and things. And for telling jokes, for telling, just innocent to me jokes, but things that adults would get upset about, and I really didn't understand. Or they'd want me to do something, they'd want me to perform, they'd want me to, and I'd say, yeah, you know what, I don't feel like it. Little things like that, things like people would want me to eat something, and I'd say, I'd rather not, and then it would spark this family war. It's like, who does she think she is? She doesn't want to eat my whatever, you know. She doesn't want to do whatever. Can you believe what she said? What are we going to do with you, Leslie? What are we going to do with you? Why did you have to do anything with me other than just let me be who I am? I was always puzzled why people felt they had to do something with me. You know, put me somewhere. Give me my own special kid table. I could sit while all the other people sat over there. You know? What, I mean, my own special curriculum in school. I made up my own. I was self-educated. I went through school, but I had my own special side curriculum. When I was in college, my roommate would get mad at me because it'd be like everybody would be cramming for finals, and I'd be sitting there reading a pleasure book the night before my calculus final. I'm ready. It's kind of like my oldest son. He came home this weekend. He's working full-time and going to college, and he's planning this great trip of the southern East Coast for when he gets out, if he can. And you know, he's going with these people that he plays online games with who he's never met. We're like, you know, really? But you know, it's the same kind of thing. We don't get it, but he gets it. So we take a step back and we go, all right, and we show him how to get to the airport and how to prepare and how to make it happen. You don't say, don't do that. No, he'll have some adventures, right? He's 20. God, when I was 20, I had already been to Spain and back. You know? Let him go. You know, have a great time. So having the Grand Trine in air means I would get in trouble for my ideas. You know, I lived in my head, and I didn't want to be a part of this small talk, the small words. It sounds like that Peter Gabriel song, Big, right? That was me, and this, you know, I got out of the small town with the small words. I got my big town with my big words. You know, that was my aspiration in life. I wanted to be around people who used big words and had big ideas. Not so much the material, you know, part of that song, Big, but you know, the people who had big ideas.